Hello guys, today let's make amazing baked matcha cheesecake. Let's get started. First, we're gonna make the crust, melt butter, and meanwhile coat some soft butter all over the pan so that the cake comes out a little bit easier. And crushed graham crackers. This is the fun part. Do not make it too powdery and leave some pieces to get the better crumbly texture. Add sugar, mix, and now the butter is melted. Add all of that and mix until well combined. Drop it on the greased pan and flatten the surface. Use something flat to push the surface. Give it a good pressure so that it doesn't break down when you transfer it or slice it. And this is not necessary, but if you want the crust to be a little bit more toasty and crispier, bake it ahead until the edges are golden brown. Today we are baking the cheesecake with water bath to give it a much smoother texture. Don't forget to start heating water around this time. We need gently simmering water. After it cools down, wrap the side. And today I'm using an oven bag, but you can also use a foil. That's what I did for my New York big cheesecake tutorial. And when you're using foil, I would recommend using 2 or 3 layers of foil at least because they are more fragile. Cover the side completely so that the water does not go in. And lay a thin cloth on the baking sheet so that the heat delivers more gently, and place the pan on top. The pan is all prepared, and now let's make the cheesecake filling. First, mix sugar and matcha powder together. So matcha powder is pretty lumpy, and by mixing it with sugar ahead, the lumps get eliminated easily. Mix fast with a whisk. Now in a separate bowl, add cream cheese. Make sure it is left at room temperature to make it soft. Otherwise, it's going to be so hard to mix and the batter is not going to be so smooth. Mix until you can see it's nice and smooth. And next add the matcha and sugar mixture and mix well until smooth. Mix slowly in the beginning so that the matcha powder are not scattering everywhere, and gradually speed up. Looking good. And next, let's add heavy cream. Add some of it first, about 1/3 of it, and mix until smooth. And add the remaining heavy cream. Mix well again. So it is pretty easy. You just have to keep mixing everything together. Next, add cornstarch. In the beginning, it will look lumpy, but continue mixing until it looks nice and smooth. And next, add egg yolks. And whole eggs. And this is the last ingredients. So mix well. And by the way, you can also do this part with a stamp mixer with the paddle attachment. And in the end, switch to a spatula and clean up the bottom and the sides of the bowl to ensure everything is evenly incorporated. And this is optional, but to create the matcha design on top, set aside about 1 tablespoon of the cheesecake filling and add sifted matcha powder to it. Mix well until you see that matcha powder is not lumpy anymore. And pour that into a small pastry bag or paper bag or even Ziploc. You can use whatever you have. Once it's ready, pour the cheesecake filling into the prepared pan. and cut the tip about this much and draw swirls on top. The tip shouldn't touch the filling directly. As you can see, it is lifted up, and drop the line as you squeeze and move your hands to guide where you want it to land. The line keep cutting off when it's too thin. You can pipe easier when the line is thicker. You can draw anything you like over here and have fun, and even if the swirls don't look perfect, that is totally fine. It'll still look beautiful by using a toothpick. Insert a toothpick a little bit and draw a line toward the center and keep repeating it. Slowly and carefully move it to the oven so that the design on top are not moving around, and pour the hot simmering water up to about 1/4 or 1/3 of the height of the pan and bake. To check if it's done, tap the side very gently. The top should bounces back like this, like souffle cheesecake or like a trampoline. Let me know if you have a better metaphor for this, but it shouldn't look liquidy. It might look very soft, but do not worry. Once it's chilled, it gets firmer. And then turn off the heat. Leave the oven door open about 1 inch. And let the cheesecake sit in the oven for about 30 minutes. This is to ensure the cheesecake is completely cooked through to the center. And it is totally normal that the height of the cheesecake goes down during this time. Let it cool at room temperature and chill it in the fridge for at least 5 to 6 hours until the cheesecake gets cold completely. Now insert a small cake palette or knife all around the edge to ensure that the cheesecake filling and the crust are detached, and take off the side of the pan. And if the surface doesn't look so smooth, you can fix it with the cake palette and transfer the cake using a larger cake palette. Heat the knife with hot water to cut it beautifully. And enjoy. It is so smooth and creamy. It is a perfect dessert for all the matcha lovers. I also love to eat it with a drop of fluffy whipped cream. It tastes so good. I highly recommend getting a good quality matcha for the best taste. They tend to have a brighter color and stronger flavor. I find so many matcha powder at the grocery stores or even online are not quite pure, and that oftentimes the colors are lighter. And if you're not familiar with matcha powder, you actually might want to go for them. Real matcha might be a little bit intense for you, but if you are into like actual matcha flavor, I would say use good quality matcha. There are so many kinds of matcha powder, and the flavors vary widely depending on the blends or where they are made from. It's really like a chocolate. Some of them are more bitter, sweeter, or earthy or buttery. The one I use today is from Uji in Kyoto, Japan, where it's known for the type of matcha they create. It doesn't have to be the same one. Just get your favorite kind. And about the amount of matcha powder, I try not to add too much matcha powder so that most people wouldn't feel it's too intense, even if they are not familiar with the flavor. But if you're really not used to it, you can reduce the amount a little bit. If you're very, very into matcha flavor, you actually might want to increase the amount, but if you're not sure, just make it with the same amount and see if you like it. To store the cheesecake, protect the cut sides with plastic wrap so that they're not gonna get dried. Wrap the surface with plastic wrap also, or put it in an airtight container and store it in the fridge. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy Tbsp 11, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.